Hey guys, welcome back to Vector Thrust with me, Eli. And today we're going to be continuing, well, first, because, reasons, we're going to go through of all the airplanes in Vector Thrust, and there's a few hidden airplanes here. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just show you the hidden airplanes. So we're going to first go by family. The A-10s, there's, the A, the C, the D, which is, as you can see, an unmanned variant, and then there's the YA, the experimental, the prototype. And then with the A-12, which was a theoretical stealth attacker, I think mainly designed to take over the A-10's role. It wasn't necessarily a competitor with the F-117, it was a later idea for the stealth attacker. It was sort of more Raptor style stealth, smooth, rounded surfaces instead of sharp, angled surfaces. But anyway, there's the standard A-12, there's the ATA Model 21, which is side-by-side cockpit, and all the rest are tandem, which is, one front, one in the back. Then there's the AFX, which is the navalized version of the A-12. The Cold Pigeon, which is a modification. Let's see, there's the Model 100, which is like a test, small, I think it's a subscale, yeah, it's a subscale model. And then there's the Sneaky Pete, which is a different cockpit, just another modification. And there's the almost complete redesign, the VX-11. I'll let the, you can pause it and read all the description if you want. And then, okay, oh, and that was designated the Avenger 2, designed to take the place of the old Avenger. Here's the, I don't even know, AFTIYF-16, special type of, it's called a Delta Viper, special type of F-16. Here's a Block 5 F-16, which blocks are production variants, like the earlier the block, the earlier production it was. Here's a Block 25. Block 30, and then there's the weird one, the F-16X XL, which was actually a real experimental version. They were going to try to make a Delta Wing. I think it was an interceptor or attack variant. And there's the sort of like a more maneuverable version of it because of the canards. It's called the YZX F-16, the Agile Falcon. A bigger wing creates more lift, thus better turning ability. And let's see, FSW, Forward Swept Wing, F-16, which is, Forward Swept Wing version. Sorry about that. Let's see, the Scamp, which is thrust vectoring, as you can see right here. Incredible swept Delta Wing. The Scamp 2, which is similar to the XL, excuse me, XL Viper, F-16. There we go. And then there's the SMTD, or the S/MTD, which is sort of like, I don't know if you ever heard of the F-15 Active. It's sort of like the F-16 version. Has thrust vectoring. I think there was some other. It says it has, let's see, vertical canted canards. I don't know if those what these are or these, but supposedly it's more maneuverable. Then there's the X-16S, which is has canards at the front, like as you can see, and these look bigger actually. So the tailplanes. And then there's the YF-16, which is the prototype variant. And there's the CCV, which has the little canards on the air intake down there. And then that's the F-16 family. So let's see, F-14, that's what it is. Here's the special variant. This is actually Coffin modification. If you don't know what Coffin is, it's Aces Combat, and I forget what it stands for. But essentially what you have is the pilot's in an enclosed room with cameras that face out, and they project pictures on monitors around him, and he has a complete 360-degree view. But, let's see. A place of canopy glass. Let's see, most notably is a solid cockpit providing situational awareness through an array of cameras in place of a canopy glass. But transatmospheric flights, so this could go out of the atmosphere. But anyway, let's see, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I think these are more susceptible to electricity, like electronic warfare, which is apparently modeled in-game. And then there's the standard Tomcat, AM variant, the A+, the B, which is a Bombcat, the D, the most common, the Quick Strike, the early experimental one, the Super Tomcat 21, the YF-14, another experimental. This is the version with a fixed wing. It has similar, makes you sort of think of a F-15 wing. So it's sort of like if you want an F-15, but it's still like the Tomcat or something like that. It's not, I don't think it's actually it might be as agile, but it's not as good for carrier landings, because the swept wing means higher speeds, or the fixed wing, sorry, means higher speeds for landings and takeoffs. And here's the F-117 family. Here's the naval, or no, this is just the AF, which is essentially like a modified version. Here's the Echo, experimental. Here's a standard, a B, which has a bubble canopy. Actually, this is the trainer, and here's the bubble canopy, the C. I'm not sure if this is an actual variant or not. Here's the naval one, the N, SD, a modification. F-1220C, which is like another fictional, I think, or paper plane. Here's a Have Blue, which was a prototype. Another Have Blue prototype. Hopeless Diamond, the original idea for stealth attacker. Another Hopeless Diamond. Near Have Blue, which was like the first sort of iteration that looks reminiscent of the F-117. Here's the Senior Trend, the closest thing to an F-117 that is still a prototype. Right click. I keep forgetting that. There we go. And then this is the competitor that lost, is the XST. It has a very low, I think, radar cross section from the front, but otherwise it's not very super agile. So, well, the F-117 isn't anyway, but it's less agile than the F-117. Anyway, the Bird of Prey. If you don't know what this is, it's awesome. It's a stealth, sort of like proof of concept fighter interceptor thingy. It wasn't really designed even to be a fighter. It was just, like I said, a proof of concept to see if their ideas worked. And this game has taken it to the next level and making it an operational plane. And making this. And if you don't know why they call it Bird of Prey, it's for the Star Trek, not Romulan. Klingon Bird of Prey had sort of little winglet things like this on each side, and they said, hey, that looks like the Star Trek Bird of Prey, let's call it that. So that's where that came from. This is like an early predecessor to the F-22 Raptor. Sorry. Lots of different Jaguars, which are ground attack planes, with I think a few of them might be multi-role. The F-104 Interceptor, just different variants, as you can see. And there's this special variant which has these winglets for better maneuverability, higher speed. This is the Doppelganger, or Duppeldorf, the twin F-104, which is actually, I don't know if that was actually ever, it says it wasn't ever put in production. I don't know if it was ever even thought of outside of this video game. But there has been planes that have had this idea, like the F-82 Twin Mustang, the BF-109Z, I think is the only two I can think of right now. You can look those up and you can see some really weird concepts. There's the late model Starfighter, another late model Starfighter, another late model Starfighter, the Vtol, which I believe this would start spinning. It would create lift, the thing would take off, and then it would stop spinning. Well, the engine would kick in, it would stop spinning, and you could fly away, which was sort of weird. And this was an actual idea that they actually tried doing, I think. And then here's the rocket version, has a rocket motor. The experimental F-15. Excuse me. The A, the B, which is 2-seat, the B active, which is the demonstrator, which I was talking about. The C, superiority, the D, the trainer, another trainer, a multi-role, air superiority again, sort of like the modernized, I guess is it the C, I guess, yeah. The K, J, K plus, which is sort of like an active, but turned into an operational plane. The Streak Eagle, which is high speed, time to climb, sort of like a record breaker is what they deem it as, which it pretty much was. You can see the paint's been taken off to lose weight. The U, another variant, as you can see, has different wings, and has the canards, thrust vectoring. F-22s, I love that cockpit, it's amazing. The standard, one that we know, the A. The B, which is a fictional trainer variant. The U, which is a big delta wing variant. Another version of the U, the Velociraptor, which has modified engines and little canards at the front. The Alvaraptor, which has forward swept wings with little canards at the front. The King Raptor, which is a slightly, I think, elongated Raptor with more weapons capability, even though for some reason no extra weapons here. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, the King Raptor, which is like a modernized Raptor, I guess, is what you'd call it. Let's see, the Strike Raptor, another version of Strike Raptor, another Strike Raptor, just big wings for more bombs. And then the Spiral 5, which is the most logical, like, modification, actual in-game thing. I don't think it's actually real, but it's sort of like a modernized Raptor that would be logical to have in our time. All the rest are like 2 or 3 years off, why this would be probably accurate for coming out now, because, you know, the Raptor was actually envisioned early 2000s, and it's just being put into production and still considered the best fighter plane ever made. Okay, the F-35, the troubled plane. If you haven't heard about the F-35 or all the problems it's having, go look it up. The Navy version, the C, the D, which is a trainer. For some reason they don't have the Marine one, which has a really weird looking cockpit, and it's enough of a variation that I would have it. The E, a fictional version with a butterfly wing, butterfly tail, I think is actually what they're called. The Delta Wing Bomber variant, another Delta Wing Bomber variant, the Dogfight variant, which is, you know, the forward swept wings, another Delta Wing tailless, and then that's F-35s. F-36, which is this, originally a model made by Boeing for a tailless fighter plane. Then here's the actual variants, which are pretty cool. Not actually a real plane, except for that, which was, like I said, it was a subscale model that they flew around, and I think they found that it had some flaws that weren't, and plus they already had the F-22, so they're like, nah. It was actually, I think, designed specifically to be a cheap 5th generation plane, which 5th generation is stealth and lots of other concepts. If you want to know what the generations and all that stuff, jet generations, just look up jet generations, and you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all that stuff. It's pretty cool, if you're into planes. Here's all the F4s, which are just different variants. Some are Navy, some are Air Force. This is the weirdest, the fighter bomber. It doesn't actually spin, I don't think. It's not technically VTOL. I think it gives more lift than the standard wing, though, because it's thicker. So then it creates more of a low pressure thing, which generates more lift. More low pressure thing, a low pressure system right across the wing, which then, you know, if you know how a wing works, you know that means a lot. So anyway, it's, I guess, designed to be a bomber. And then there's the S, which is supposedly a super modern version. Then there's the F5, which for some reason they don't have the F20 in with the F5s. And F20 is like, from here back, it's just one big engine instead of 2 small engines. They have a really big engine in the back that I think is used in the F-16 or something like that. And this is completely fictional. If you watch Top Gun, you know where Mig-28's from. That was never, I don't think that was ever done, but you'd have to check. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it wasn't ever reverse engineered. F5. F7s, which are a Chinese version of a Mig-21. Drakens, F-35, or J-35s actually, which are made by Saab, who also makes cars. Another variant, Chinese variant of a F-16 has the, I think this is actually them personally, like Russia didn't come up with this, they came up with that big nose, which actually the reason they did that is so they could fit a radar in there. The LA-5, or the Lampriad family, which is stealth interceptors. which I think are all fictional, and the first one or two might have been a concept that somebody said, well, these might work, back when they were working on maybe like the F-17 or something, F-117. So that's where that, I think, came from. There's the Mig-21s, which all generally look the same. This is a fictional version of YE-7P4, which, based off of how it looks, it's like somebody combined a MiG-21 with a F-104. So the MiG-23s, this is like sort of MiG-21 body, I guess, or the wings are MiG-21 wings or something like that. And then here's the rest, which are sweep wing interceptors. MiG-29s, different variants. This is the coolest looking one. It's the Super Fulcrum. Nothing special about any of these, except there's one in here that has the thrust vectoring. Oh, here it is, the demonstrator version. Thrust vectoring engines. This is their version of F-15B, the Russian version of an F-15B active. Has thrust vectoring. I'm surprised they didn't put any canards on it. Mirage F1s of different versions, which are all multi-rolls. Here we go, the record breaker, the P-42, which is the Su-27 family. So you got the Su-27s, the Su-30 Navy fighters, Su-33 air superiorities and multi-rolls, and then the Terminator. In my opinion, the pinnacle of 4th generation fighter planes. It has thrust vectoring with canards, and this is a production variant. So, and here we go, the Russian Raptor, essentially. Technically, the Russian Raptor would be the Su-PAK-FA, but this came closer to production, I think, than the Su-PAK-FA will. But anyway, here we go, the Su-32, which is the concept of the, or not the Su-32, it's the S-32, which is the concept of the Su-47, which, as you can see, this is the only real variant, I believe, that's in here. Either just what-ifs, and this one's a pretty interesting what-if. This is actually backwards wings. It's like if you took these wings and put them forward swept, they would be standard Su-47. So let's see, the Su-25 ground attacker, essentially the Russian version of A-10. The YF-23, the competitor to the Raptor. This is what they actually look like right here, which they had two different types of engines. But then there was this version that's solely in-game, which has thrust vectoring engines, so it's more maneuverable. And then there's this model, which they say there's rudder control somehow in those engines, but they look like they thrust up and down. But anyway, these two are the purely fictional. And here's the all the stuff that isn't big enough to have a family. The Flying Rock, which apparently was, well, the brick, was apparently a real thing. Its shape meant that it was able to fly. Let's see, the Asian, completely fictional UCAV, unmanned combat aerial vehicle. Manned version, F-313, which is, F-313 is a, let's see, Iranian stealth 5th generation fighter that is pretty much, it's just a big plastic model to scare people into thinking that Iran has a 5th generation. The pictures have been analyzed and say, well, the cockpit is essentially a Cessna cockpit with a body that happens to look really cool. So, whoop. So here's the J-21, the Chinese version, the Chinese ripoff of an F-22 Raptor. The completely fictional, based off of this, no, not that plane. Let's see, what's it called? The Tacit Blue, yeah, which was, well, I'll get into Tacit Blue when we get to it. This is a UCAV based off of the Tacit Blue. Completely fictional plane, has no description, so I don't know what they expect me to say about it. Besides, it looks like a Aces Combat plane. A P125 ECR. These look really awesome. This is another Coffin Systems. There's an actual pilot in there, but he's encased in the plane. Has little cameras to see what's actually going on. It's one of the coolest looking planes, I think, in the game. Q7, which is another version of the Asian, which was that UCAV. Another manned variant. Another variant of that plane we just saw. The Surprise Fighter. Actually, it's supposedly invisible to frontal radar. Like, if you look at this from the front with a radar, you can't see it because of this nose. Bounces all the radar waves, again, right up. So it goes boo boo. And so you don't get a radar return. So, super stealthy. Oh, did it again. And there's two of them. There's a standard delta wing and there's a sweep wing. Here is the tacit blue. Okay, I don't know if you noticed that one said was the F-117 was called Have Blue. This is the tacit blue. Both of them were going on at the same time. The one was testing faceted surfaces. This one was testing smooth surfaces, essentially what the Raptor has. So this is the earliest predecessor to the Raptor. Oh, did it again. Dang it. Hold on. There we go. Here's the X-32, the competitor to the F-35, which, based off of this, looks like it has thrust vectoring. Except its looks, it probably would have been a better decision if they could have done something with the look of it, because, you know, it's laughing at everything. So, besides that, that's the only problem with that plane. And here's some carrier-based 50s airplanes. I think that's all of them. So there's all the airplanes. Let's see. That's all the airplanes in the game, as far as I understand, if you don't mod.